Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Minnesota needs diverse teachers who represent our students and communities. Explore teaching degree options at Metro State University's Urban Education Info Session in person at the Minneapolis campus on June 24th. Metro State's programs offer pathways to bachelor's degrees designed for those committed to serving urban communities. Visit campus, get an overview of teaching programs, and meet with an advisor. Sign up at metrostate.edu/urban teacher program. Become a teacher, shape the future. Metro State University.
Signing up for $1 bus and train rides with the Transit Assistance Program, or TAP, is quick and easy. Do it straight from your computer or phone by uploading one of the pre-approved documents listed at metrotransit.org/TAP, along with a copy of your ID. We'll mail you a to-go card with a full year of discounted rides. For questions or translation help, call 612-373-3333. 612-373-3333.
Rudy Luther Toyota is the dealer you can trust. Go to rudyluthertoyota.com to browse their inventory of new and certified pre-owned vehicles. Style, performance, and reliability. You can find it all at Rudy Luther. With every new and certified pre-owned vehicle, you'll get a Luther Advantage card, save 10 cents per gallon at the pump, and get $6 Works car washes at Holiday Station stores. That's right. You can get a great vehicle and help stretch your budget even further. Rudy Luther Toyota, the southeast corner of 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
Your heart beats for generations.
Your heart is so many things. It beats all the time, and it works very hard to keep you moving through your day, keeping your thoughts clear. It's the most important organ in your body.
Every beat of your heart tells a story of love, resilience, and hope. Taking care of your heart means creating more moments with the ones you cherish. Learn more at hennepin.us/heart-beats. That's hennepin.us/heart-beats.
With a look at your AM 950 forecast, this is Adam. 78 and cloudy, chances of rain today. Tonight, 61, and clouds will continue. Maverick's Real Roast Beef in Roseville sets the bar when it comes to roast beef sandwiches. Every bite is a taste of perfection. Add fries, onion rings dropped in their fryer, and you've got a winning combination. Located off Lexington and Roseville, or go to mavericksbeef.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
Good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hit me cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. A kadagi to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Jalisa, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
That's right, Jaji. Hey, this portion of the show is supported by Native Roots Trading Post. Shop now online at cause-cart.shop and search for Native Roots to find your resist gear.
Yeah, right on. Hey, did you see me freeze there? It's like he knew. Speaking the language here. We have a great show today, and I'm really excited to have the guest. Our guest come on, and Arnold Dahl, and we got a lot to talk about with him. But at first, I want to wish you a happy birthday, Eve.
Thank you, Pinigigi, Judge.
Hey, right on. And then we want to do our word of the day in our sacred voice of Ho-Chunk. And do you have something for us today?
Yes, we do, everybody. So I love this tradition that Judge has done on the show. So today's Ho-Chunk word is Hampi Jaina, which means nice day.
Let's have a nice day. We got to figure out the definition of have a nice radio show.
Yes, let's add that next time.
Humpy Jana.
Humpy Jana.
You say that with that little Rez accent.
Yes, Humpy Jana.
Good one. Well, we got the president doing what he's doing, and I just have to tell our relatives because, as you know, Native Americans are per capita the most people in the service.
Yep.
And I didn't say that right, but we have more people per capita in the service. We have like 15% of the service is Native Americans, and we're only 2% of the population.
Exactly.
So we have to say, be careful, our relatives out there. This is not going well, and we have to put tobacco out and pray for Turtle Island and all our relatives all across Turtle Island. And this has really been a taxing weekend. And I know you and your sister have been doing your thing this weekend, and I wish I could do that too. And I got all this stuff popping up on my phone, and I'm thinking, why am I sad? So we just say a big prayer out there that this doesn't escalate into something bigger than these incompetent people in the White House can handle, because they are incompetent.
Absolutely. It's one of the most careless, just most horrendous things that the president can do. And it's just so careless. And, Congress, that's their job. And I'm glad you bring up specifically, because I want to send all of my prayers to all the people involved. And but I'm glad that you put that out there too. I think I don't know that a lot of people know that that percentage is highest among Native people. So we're not only here, but we're also serving this country. So yes, a big shout out to them. So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, when we have powwows, or when the elder is and I don't mean baby elder like me, I'm 64. I mean our lead elders with the knowledge, and then our military people, those are the top two. And we're going to have a guest on here in just a minute here. And one of the things that we've always talked about here, Jalisa, is that when they colonized us, there's the two groups of people that they attacked right away, and one was our two spirits, and the other was our medicine people, or so this is Gay Pride Month, and we're going to be at live on Saturday at 1:00, and we got some rockin' guests to be at Pride at, and but right now I want to get our guest on, and we're really excited to have Arnold Dahl, and thank you so much for being on.
I'm honored to be here.
This is great. I think we've talked a few times over the years, but this is the first time you've been on the show, and I don't know how that's happened. But we have a celebration that we want to talk to you about. That you're the Twin Cities Pride BIPOC Leader of the Year. But before we get into the celebration stuff, and I do have applause button here. So when we do talk about that, we're going to applause. But I'd really like to talk about who you are, and I know you have this. I've looked at your website, your Two Spirit advocacy. Thank you. I knew I was going to have that, and I was practicing with Jalisa, and I panicked. But and talk about your website and what you do, and you have this great bio on there. Let's talk. Welcome, and let's talk a little bit about yourself before we get into your accomplishments and why Twin Cities Pride made you BIPOC Leader of the Year.
Hey.
All right. Well, a little bit about myself. I am a Leech Lake band member. So like Buju, Kanimat Indigenous Cause, Mikanak Totem. My name is Strong Wind, and I'm from the Turtle Clan. And so my English name is Arnold Dahl. And but I'm also the first same-sex marriage to be sanctioned by Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe in 2013. That's the Ojibwe Nation. And so I was very happy and honored to be a part of that. And also, too, in our tribal teachings, that's always been recognized and protected. And I think that's something to pay attention to. It's in our tribal teachings. And but I've been doing advocacy outreach for 20 plus years. Just when I left the Leech Lake Reservation years ago and I moved back, it kind of felt like when I moved back to Minnesota that I stepped into a time machine, because it's like things had stood still for a while. And what I thought was interesting is my phone kept going off. It was people calling me from a lot of Two-Spirits, because the reason why they were calling me is like I was already very public. You know, everybody knew who I was when I came back and I bought my father's store, me and my partner at the time, Matthew. But it was usually people in crisis. You know, a lot of youth. They were suicidal, didn't know how to tell their families, and I always knew about like the traditional aspects of what Two-Spirit, what that meant. It was something sacred, honored, and protected. You know, and in some cases revered. So I would share that story over and over. I started holding seminars. You know, anytime I had like a free space, I held a seminar. And first time I held one, I thought, you know, I'm going to get like 5, maybe 10 people. You know, so I got a free coffee pot and a little bag of cookies. And then 30 people showed up. And then I thought that was amazing. And then they said, can you do this again? I'm like, well, yeah, absolutely. And then more people showed up. And I had like pieces of paper that I would hand out. You know, I made, you know, I found a copying machine. And just that just kept growing and growing and growing. And I really did see like the need for advocacy, because I did sense and feel the disparities that happened to the Two-Spirit population still after all those years. You know, I was like, you know, I felt like time had moved on. We had to understand, you know, of our decolonization and all of our teachings. We're trying to do all this reclamation, trying to make sure that we understand who we are. And the Two-Spirits were really kind of like forgotten about. And so I really kept speaking about it more and more. And I always wanted to have like an advocacy resource place, something that I always dreamed about when I was younger. Because it's like, you know, to have an advocacy of some sort to where you can go to, it's that safe space and as cultural inclusion, why that's important, and discuss that, you know, so you can have that for youth and then family members and elders. I thought that was really important for us to see.
Let's talk deep about that, because that's some amazing work. And as a former high school teacher, I just cannot do but applaud your work. And hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we're going to come right back here after this short break.
Stay with us.
What does it mean to begin? Creation Story explores Native origin stories through powerful contemporary art, connecting past and present with every brushstroke and sculpture. Explore how identity, culture, and resilience are shaped through art. Creation Story, now at All My Relations Arts through July 26th. This exhibition invites you to the heart of the Ochate-Shikowin storytelling, where spiritual relatives guide the way. Open to all. Learn more at allmyrelationsarts.org. Experience the beginning. Experience Creation Story at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune into Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950. Support for Native Roots Radio comes from the Walker Art Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including Indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds, Cheyenne and Arapaho Nation, and Jim Demini, Ojibwe. Additionally, films screen in the cinema and performances are shown on stage. Free every Thursday night and free every day for members and citizens of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org. Again, that's walkerart.org.
Your heart beats for generations. take care of it.
There's a lot that we can do to take care of ourselves. And so I think it's important to take the smaller steps and break it down into more manageable pieces, because the little steps leads to big changes.
Every beat of your heart tells a story of love, resilience, and hope. For Indigenous women, taking care of your heart means creating more moments with the ones you cherish. Let's protect that story. Learn more at hennepin.us/heart-beats.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
Then we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. There you go, Jalisa.
Hey, that's me. Everybody, this portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Clinic off of Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis. They are honoring health and tradition.
I love that tagline. I say that every show, don't I?
That you love it.
Yeah, honoring.
Consistent.
Yeah, well, thank you. Oh, that's good coming from my daughter here. Awesome. Hey, nepotism's running wild here, Arnold, and it's great to have you on. We want to get back into that because Jalisa and I were talking during the break, and we're going, we lost track of time because we were listening so intently with you, but
yeah,
we really appreciate this. Starting with being the first same-sex marriage sanctioned by Leech Lake, and my son-in-law and your brother-in-law is a Leech Laker, so
yeah,
we feel even closer to you now, Arnold.
All right, we're cousins.
That's right. In a good way.
Yeah. Well, I have a niece and a nephew that are Leech Lake, so very cool.
Yeah, that's right.
Leech Lake.
Yeah, they're Ho-Chunk and Leech Lake Ojibwe.
I would have said Ho-Chunk first, but Jalisa, you had the mic, so you went first. So yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that, because you had your first group, and you bought a Mr. Coffee at Goodwill and expected 4 or 5 people, and 35 people showed up. That really tells us something. And as being a former educator, and I know Jalisa, you're in the counseling business too. We know that there's a lot of people that are hurting and not able to speak to people about what's going on with them. So let's talk a little bit more about that journey. Jeez.
That was something that I talk in my presentations, because I do talk about my voice because inside my head, my voice is very deep and gravelly, and it always has been. And this is going to date me a little bit, because you remember those tape recorders, you used to press play and record it, record your voice or your top 40 songs. Well, anyway, I heard my voice back, as a teenager for the very first time, and I heard it. I was like, oh my God, you could tell by some of the words I said. And I was like, that terrified me, because it's like, why would something like that terrify me? Because I was closeted. Nobody knew about me at that time. And so, because I'd seen people that were being persecuted, in schools, in the hallways, of the way, or people being perceived as such, as a two-spirit, somebody from the 2S LGBTQ plus population. Those people were being verbally mocked, ridiculed, abused, and the teachers did little to nothing to stop that. And some of these people were abused physically, their physical violence in the hallways. And so I pretended to be somebody else because I didn't want that type of abuse. I wanted to graduate. And so, because some of those students had to quit school because the violence had gotten so bad. But those are the people that you just kind of didn't pay attention to. It was like, this is something that they deserved, or, that they needed to go somewhere else. And at that time I did feel very alone, because being from that population, I thought I was alone, because, nobody was coming to terms with that at that age, or was closeted. But then as I got older, I realized how large the population actually is. It's a lot larger than people realize. And also too, the false information that was out there. There was a ton of false information. So the fear factor of people coming out was incredible. And even to my family, I did the big coming out, because everybody's like, "What year did you come out?" It's like, this is a big celebratory act. I come out all the time. It's like, everywhere you go, somebody asks, "Are you gay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I came out again." All right. But every single time you come out, you always have that little bit of apprehension. How are they going to take this? You know, are they going to be okay? Are they educated enough? And also, too, if culturally, it's like, do you understand culturally what two-spirit means? That this is something that is sacred and respected. You know, so, and that usually brings up a topic and discussions, and you know, and also something very important for the youth and sometimes the parents. The parents really need to hear that, because they always feel like, is it something that happened, or did we do something wrong? Is it because we let so and so play with the doll, or let so and so play with the truck? It's like, no, it's, you just are, and it's okay. It's absolutely okay.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you don't look that old to have one of those tape recorders.
I give it all to my mom. Good genetics. I'm a lot older than I look.
Oh, geez. I know. I found a tape that we were doing. I think I was 11 or 12, and we were doing all-star wrestling and doing as a radio show, and it was just like, wow. But yeah, that's an amazing story. And and can you talk a little bit about, and we touched lightly in the beginning of the show about how revered Two-Spirit people were in tribes across the Turtle Island. And you know, when the colonizers came, they killed Two-Spirit people and our medicine people the first time around. And I don't know if you can talk a little bit more about that.
I can talk about some of that, because, you know, we have to think about, you know, like historically, you know, but like before colonization, it's like, you know, Two-Spirit members, they even have archaeological evidence that shows that Two-Spirit members have been around for tens of thousands of years, completely loved and supported. It was just, these are just family members and community members, our teachers and our healers, you know. So, and one of my favorite stories is to share like Weewa from the Zuni tribe. They sent over a delegation from the Zuni tribe to go meet the president at the time, which was President Grover Cleveland. And they sent Weewa. And I think this is very important for us to pay attention to, because who is Weewa? Weewa's transgender. And this was one of the most highly respected members of their tribe. And so this is how, you know, Native Americans, how as Anishinaabe indigenous persons, you know, this is, you know, these are just people. You know, and so when they over colonization, that's where we started to learn like new words like abomination and sinner, and where mockery is okay, ridiculed, pushed down, and also that violence was acceptable as well. And so it's like, no, those weren't our values, those aren't our ways, but that's something that we learned. And so it's like, this is wrong. And so it's we don't persecute our people or any people. We don't persecute like that. These are our family members, our moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas, uncles and aunties, and our kids. So we were very inclusive. And so for many years, everything was fine. And over colonization, that's where we started to learn like different words. And sometimes I like to clarify too, it's nothing against Christianity, because sometimes people say this is against Christians. It's like, no, it's just to bring light to actually what was occurring during that time. But we did start learning those words of abomination and sinner, and violence was acceptable. And it was all, you know, usually related to that.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know where it says anything against gay people in the Bible, but I do know if you are wearing wool that you should be stoned and things like that. So
they always bring up Leviticus. It's Leviticus, but it's like, no, it's not even that. It's not in there. It's not in there.
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, we could have a whole conversation on that. I hope you all don't mind I chime in. Oh, the dog is barking.
That's okay.
I love the dog too.
Part of the show. But I'm so glad you bring this up, because tomorrow, which is me and my twin sister's birthday, is also the Two-Spirit powwow ran by New Native Theater that I have done acting and some different things with them. So that is I believe their 4th annual, and it is over at the American Indian Center, Minneapolis. And the feast is at 4. Grand entry, I believe, is at 5:30. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you brought that up.
Two-Spirit powwow.
And it's a 4th annual, and it's always good, and it's during the week here, and it's indoors this time, because I know the last couple I was either stroking out on heat or the thunderstorms, but now we got AC at the Minneapolis Indian Center.
That remodel, though.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So I want to talk a little bit, and I want to keep you on, if you don't mind, for one more segment and talk a little bit about this great award that was bestowed you. And I don't know if you're going to be around, but AM 950 is going to be at Pride, and we're going to have Jace Ree as one of the guests, and Dr. Stately as another guest. And I don't know if you know Jace Ree, but he's TikTok famous, and you went to school with him.
I did, yes. So Jason and I both were in the same program when I was getting my counseling license.
Yeah, so
shout out to Jace.
So Jace on TikTok is Auntie Jace.
Yes.
So we're excited.
Auntie energy.
That's right. We're excited to have him on. But hey, Arnold, can you hold on for another segment? And we can get deep into the award.
Please do, because I got a great story to share.
Oh, good. Well, now
yay.
You'll start out the next segment. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we're gonna take a quick break and pay the bills. We'll be right back after this short break.
Stay with us, everybody. Pinigigi.
Ho.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh, every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. June is here, which means you might be having a graduation party at your house soon. Summer also means sleepovers. Your kids are going to be at the playground, at the water park, at the beach. There's going to be a lot of mess coming into the house over the summer, and you need to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to make sure your home is in order for the summer. And since June is here, it's time to take advantage of Zero Res's best deal of the summer. Zero Res can take care of any surface in your home or business, including carpet, tile, hardwood, rugs, upholstery, and air ducts. This month, take 20% off all services when you call my friends at Zero Res 9520-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com. Just tell them you want the AM 950 special. Their prompt, courteous team will come out and take care of you. Again, that's 20% off all services this month. Go to ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 9520-RES and ask for the AM 950 special. Zero Res, backward or forward, spells the same.
When was the last time you had your roof inspected for extreme weather and hail damage? This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP. Or visit snapconstruction.com.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about outdoor fires. Sitting around a fire is the oldest, most basic form of human activity.
What's new is in the way fire is burned. We can show you how to burn cleaner with a lot less smoke.
The radiant heat and light from an open fire is unmatched. It kindles our spirits and connects us to the outdoors. And now it's easier to experience and enjoy.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces sells and installs wood and gas burning fire pits and fireplaces. Let us help you experience an outdoor fire without all the smoke.
Come see the many ways you can enjoy a fire outdoors.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood and gas units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. More information at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that works for you. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
With a look at your AM 950 forecast, this is Adam. Cloudy with a chance of rain today, a high of 78. Tonight, the clouds will continue, a low of 61. And tomorrow, clouds, a high of 75. Twin Cities Pride is back, and AM 950 is proud to be part of the celebration all weekend long. Join AM 950 this weekend at booths 407 and 408, right next to the beer garden. Pull up a chair and enjoy our live broadcast of LGBTQ plus community.
AM 950, KTN up, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Oh, this is Dallas Goldtooth, and you're listening to the Native Roots Radio. Hoka, hicha, wecha.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Development Institute, or NACD, in Minneapolis.
Hey, we're here with Arnold Dahl, Woolley, and he's two-spiritadvocacy.com and Twin City Pride BIPOC Leader of the Year, and I want to get into that, but I'm going to let Arnold, you have a story you want to, and I don't want to forget that, because as Jalisa's finding out, her father here has a good memory, but it's short. Oh,
well, it's actually we can go with like the BIPOC of the year, and I have my little award is right here. I had to put it on my desk, and I'm very honored to have this because I received an email about this a long time ago, and at first I thought it was spam because I was like, "What? What are you talking about? BIPOC Leader of the Year?" And I was like, "This has got to be spam." It's from TC Pride, and it's like, "Oh no, it was genuine." I was very much honored to receive this, and I have been public speaking and doing advocacy. I am nationally recognized now, which I find a little bit unsettling at times. But then it was the one that shocked me the most is when I received my award and we're all giving our speeches, and that you meet people and representatives, and but Peggy Flanagan. She did a wonderful, powerful speech. And then she looked over at me and said, "Arnold's my brother," and went on and on about me. I was like, oh my gosh, she knows who I am. And I was like, I didn't know how to take that. I was like, oh my gosh, she knows who I am. She's saying nice things about me. And I thought that was absolutely fantastic. But I have been extremely honored to receive BIPOC Leader of the Year. I didn't expect that. But obviously, because I thought it was spam. but and I think it's fantastic. So, and it got a beautiful little trophy, and I proudly put this on my desk. And yeah, it's overwhelming. I really don't have words for receive. I've never received anything like this, and I've been doing this for 20 plus years. And to receive this, it was just it floored me, absolutely floored me. But there's more.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Do tell.
Because as you know, it's like, I'm a busy boy, and this is part of the other things that we're doing, because we're talking about TC Pride, and then I got TC Pride BIPOC Leader of the Year, and it's all about making sure that we're paying attention to some of our forgotten members, or I'm here about to support and uplift, and also to honor our Indigenous culture and persons, and if there's disparities happening in the world, we always want to make sure we bring light to it. And so we did reach out to Two-Spirit Advocacy, which is our mission, is to make sure that we enlighten, bring all these different cultural aspects to life again, the inclusion and the support and the safety, and why is this cultural aspects important, and it's pay attention to any disparities that are occurring. So we reached out to MMIW. And because MMIW and Two-Spirit, these are two entities that are silenced through violence. And I did a photo shoot with Nadonis Rose Green from Green Photography a few years back with Dwa Brown. And that went, it's still at the Springboard for the Arts in St. Paul. I think it's on this billboard. It's going to be there for, about another 15 years. But we did another photo shoot. And so we're bringing more light to the disparities that are happening to these two entities of Two-Spirits and MMIW. So in Twin Cities Pride this year, we'll be leading the Pride flag again. And so we'll be Two-Spirits, but also the flag is going to be held by all MMIW members. So the whole flag. So this is the first time ever that something like this has occurred. So it should be very powerful for people to pay attention to what is happening in the climate today. Like you mentioned, yes. There's our Two-Spirit flag. And so this has never been done before. And it's like, yes. So it's like, let's pay attention to, it's like, what's happening in the world today. It's like, we're still here. And it's like, we need to make sure we pay attention to certain disparities because, lives are really at risk when we talk about this stuff. We talk about the two spirits. We want to make sure that we're safe and then we know our history and our culture. It's like, we are the sacred and honorable with everyone else. So it's like, we're sacred and honorable too. In our MMIW, it's like, let's pay attention. It's not just missing and murdered Indigenous women, as we know. There's persons. Right. And a lot of our Two-Spirit members are in there. And so MMIW is usually carrying the Two-Spirit flag as well. And so I always really, really appreciate to see that because that means they're paying attention to the disparities and violence that occurs to our populations at times. And so, so of course we need to reach out to MMIW. And so I'm very honored that they said, absolutely, they're 100% on board. First time ever, it's going to be holding the whole pride flag in Minneapolis on Pride for Minneapolis. So it should be an amazing sight.
Well, I have one of those plates, but isn't it MMIWR now for relations or relatives? Thank you.
Yeah. Relatives. Yes, it's relatives. Yes.
This isn't my first week on the show, Arnold. I've been on 9 years now. It just kind of acting like it here, a little slow. But,
not at all.
But yeah, so I think that's always important because, I'm from the era when, my friends were, worked for did things for the Catholic Church, young people. And we know what's happened and what's come out over the years about, altar boys and things like that. And so it's really, it warms my heart that it's opened up to our communities all over.
Yeah. Well, and I like what you said too earlier, Arnold, about, it's not that we're dissing or however you want to say it, the actual Christianity. It's more or less like what has come with it. And because I think that a lot of times people will stand on certain belief systems in order to kind of like share hate. And it really, that's all based on fear and kind of that sheltered one way of thinking, right?
100%. Because it's like, and I always tell people, it's like, if you have a question, ask us. If you have questions, go ahead and ask. Because I'm a person too. And all the other Two-Spirit population, we have families, we have parents and siblings, some of us have parents and, grandparents. It's like, if you have a question, ask. I'm more than willing to sit down and have a cup of coffee, come over to our advocacy, see our library, or just we have snacks. Just come on in, or come see one of our social groups because we have several social groups too. Come see the parents and the families that are here. We can see that we're playing games or having snacks, and it's also too. We do have a full database at Two-Spirit Advocacy now. We reached out to all the pride agencies in the state of Minnesota. They all know who we are, and so that was one of the things I wanted to be very intentional. It's like, please understand that there's advocacy and outreach, and that if you're from the 2S LGBTQ plus population, that you're sacred and respected and honored.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And one of the things that I just want to, we've talked about this many times. My wife, Wendy, is a pharmacist that used to work at the University of Minnesota in infectious disease and HIV. And we just always need to talk about that, bring that up, is that's still a thing. And I know a lot of people think that it's over with. And I just wanted to bring that up because I do remember, I'm 64 years old, and I do remember friends dying, and there was no cure, and there was a president that never talked about it until I guess Rock Hudson, his friend, died of it.
Yes, it was, because I'm a child from the 80s, and then I'm like coming up after, but I knew people from before. I heard the stories of what was going on. I seen the disparities that were happening to our community, and things that were being said, and the mockery and ridicule, and then how people stand idly by when people just died. It's just crazy. And so I have to appreciate some of the movies that came out to help educate people along the way. When they came out with Philadelphia with Tom Hanks, that was powerful. But every time somebody see me, it's like, oh my gosh, don't get AIDS. That's the only thing they could think of when they see me. It was just AIDS. So it's like, well, and we do need to pay attention. There's still issues that are happening in the community. It's like to not turn blind eyes, but a lot of people would just completely sweep us under the rug, treat you lesser than human, and you were a lesser person just by being. And so that's why I know when the AIDS epidemic was around, it's like people were dying left and right, and people just allowed that. And it's just disheartening. It is scary because I know me being from that population and my husband and the whole community that I'm truly blessed to be a part of. I am so honored to be a part of the Two-Spirit population, and I would never change that for anything in the world. And so it concerns me when people would stand idly by when people are being hurt, whether through disease or violence. To stand idly by, I don't believe in that. That's not our cultural way anyway.
Right.
Exactly.
And the sad thing is too, in our position, we have a lateral oppression a lot of times in our community. We have to remind our relatives of that's not how we are. And so to re-educate, and then we go back into the boarding schools, and then the boarding schools and the abuse that happened there too. And it's deep in our community, and there's still, and it's not that long ago, there's still major healing that needs to be done in our community too.
I am so happy you brought that up because, like, when I give presentations, just to enlighten some of the audience that I've been to, we talk about boarding schools because some of my slides show the boarding school. I go, people like to think this is ancient history many years ago. Forget about it. What can't we just get over? It's like my mom was in a boarding school. People not much older than me were in a boarding school. So it's like this isn't ancient history we're talking about. It's not that long ago. And so when we talk about lateral oppression, like you mentioned too, and thank you for bringing that up. Oh my gosh, I just love the show. Because
you'll have to become a regular.
Yeah, I'd be honored. I have lots to say. But it was like, we talk about lateral oppression. It's like, I know we all want to be there for one another, but sometimes over colonization, we forgot some things. We forgot some things, and we need a reminder. We need a reminder of who we are. It's just like, let's get those reminders of who we are. That's why I love our language immersion programs, because like we're learning our language again, and we're writing it down. We're never going to forget again. So also the Two-Spirit population is in here too. And so sometimes it's not a pick and choose of which part of our culture, over colonization. We forgot a lot of things. That's why I love hearing those words of decolonization.
Yes.
To pull our sacred things through, our supportive things through. And, we don't want to do like lateral oppression either, because I want all of our people to be successful, all of our people to be healed, and we can only do that like when we work with one another. I'm not going to persecute another Native American or indigenous entity. It's like, I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that they're healed too. They deserve healing. And I want to support everybody.
Before we let you go, we only got like a minute left here. Can you talk about your website and how people can get a hold of you?
Yes. Okay. Please, if you have any questions, you can go to twospiritadvocacy.com. And you can see some of the outreach entities that we have on there. These are vetted ones too, to know that we've gone through resources to make sure that these are safe persons. So that's one of the things too. We're always looking about who's a safe entity where I can contact and not be ridiculed or mocked or just turned away. These are some of them. We have to adjust it about every week right now because over the climate that's happening right now, we have to pay attention to certain things. But also too, for twospiritadvocacy.com, we do have a library here too. You can come in. Some of these books are banned in several states because they deal with the Black or indigenous populations. These are some of the authors, and also Two-Spirit populations as well. So it's like, these are our authors that we have in our, so come on over, check our library. You can take some books. And also we have a large database that is the only one of its kind right here. Two-Spirit Advocacy is the only one of its kind in the state of Minnesota. And if you have questions, you can contact us at any time. And as you can go to our website, there's a phone number, and you can also email us.
Thank you so much. This has been a great show. Arnold Dahl Woolley, Twin City Pride BIPOC Leader of the Year. We'll see you this coming Saturday. Big Peony Geek, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you, Peony Geek.
We'll be right back.
Stay with us.
Minnesota needs diverse teachers who represent our students and communities. Explore teaching degree options at Metro State University's Urban Education Info Session in person at the Minneapolis campus on June 24th. Metro State's programs offer pathways to bachelor's degrees designed for those committed to serving urban communities. Visit campus, get an overview of teaching programs, and meet with an advisor. Sign up at metrostate.edu/urban teacher program. Become a teacher, shape the future. Metro State University.
Signing up for $1 bus and train rides with the Transit Assistance Program, or TAP, is quick and easy. Do it straight from your computer or phone by uploading one of the pre-approved documents listed at metrotransit.org/TAP, along with a copy of your ID. We'll mail you a to-go card with a full year of discounted rides. For questions or translation help, call 612-373-3333. 612-373-3333.
Your heart beats for generations.
Your heart is so many things. It beats all the time, and it works very hard to keep you moving through your day, keeping your thoughts clear. It's the most important organ in your body.
Every beat of your heart tells a story of love, resilience, and hope. Taking care of your heart means creating more moments with the ones you cherish. Learn more at hennepin.us/heart-beats. That's hennepin.us/heart-beats.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Annie, and I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
Ooh.
Hey, this is the howling one, isn't it?
Yes. In this portion of the show, we like to bring awareness to our wolf population here in Minnesota. Say no to the hunts.
Oh. Hey, Arnold's still in the bullpen. Why don't we get him back on and go through the website and how people can get in touch again?
Oh, yay.
Because we were going to do it, but Arnold, I'm kind of an amateur, even though I've been on 9 years, and Jalisa's just started co-hosting this a couple weeks now, so we feel new and young. Welcome back.
Well, thank you. I would be honored to be back here. And then it's like, yes, if you have any questions for me, it's like I said before, you can go to our website at twospiritadvocacy.com. It's the only one of its kind here in the state of Minnesota. But also, if you want to have a question, you can email us at twospiritadvocacy@gmail.com. And that's one way to get a hold of us, too. And it just goes right to our email, right at this computer that I'm talking in front of. And also, if you need more information, you can go to Two Spirit Celebration on Facebook. And so that'll bring us to like our current and local events, things that are happening, and also my tidbits of the day. Because I usually, like I said before, I do have a lot to say. And sometimes I do a tidbit of the day just to tell you what's going on in today's climate. And also, too, to stay inspirational. Because I don't like to do like sad things. I just want to tell you like that we're sacred, we're special, we're honored. Mm-hmm. And to have that type of information, just to give you a little bit of info what's happening in today's climate, that we don't need to think bad about ourselves or pay attention to like stupid people in the world. Let's pay attention to the good things, cultural things.
Absolutely. That's awesome. And I hear rumors too that Native Roots Radio might have you on every other week. So to stop in for a couple segments, we've really worn you out here. We've had you on the whole show, and
this was your show. I love it.
Yeah,
I would be honored to come back. I was just like, I had a wonderful time. I think you're awesome. I think this is great.
Appreciate it. And then we know each other from way back. I think you mentioned that with was your sister. You two had a photo shoot, right?
Not my sister, but I call her my sister, but her name's Dwa. And then Dwa Brown. And so this was kind of great because Nadana, she asked me to, I post for pictures over the years, for like different events and posters and stuff. But when I turned 50, and like I said, I'm older than I look. And so she asked me, Nadana's did say, hey, can you post for some more pictures? I'm like, okay. And so she goes, do you know another person around your age? And I was like, well, I know Dwa. So I know she's posed for a lot of different things. And so, sure, And so I called her up, and I've known her forever. And she's like, dude, we're 50. I said, come on, it's going to be amazing. And it's for a good cause, for a Two-Spirit. And also at the time it was MMIW or MMIWR, and then MMIP, and all the different acronyms for that. But they were going to see if they could choose the photo that was going to make it out of all these different models that they had out there. And they chose us. And so I thought that was very powerful. I was very honored to be a part of it, which led to, we just had another photo shoot. Not a lot of people know about that right now, so I'll release that on here. We already completed another photo shoot for Two-Spirit and MMIW, MMIR. And there's going to be a photo gallery release here in the near future after Minneapolis TC Pride.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I hope to see you Saturday. And again, I really appreciate you, one, being on the show and then staying on the whole time. And then all the work you do. It really means a lot to us, because this show is all about promoting the good things in Indian country, and you definitely are. And I'm glad after we finally have gotten you on the show. This is just awesome.
Absolutely. I'm honored to be here, and it's honored to talk to you again. So this is great.
Excellent. Well, we're going to have to work out our Google Calendar and get you on every other week for a couple segments. That'd be great.
I'd be honored.
Right on. Well, thanks again.
Jimmy Gwetch, have a great day.
Wow,
Yes, you too.
Wow, what fun.
So fun.
What fun.
I have to say too, having all these conversations and having Arnold on here, I mean, it's bringing, this month is so great. Sometimes you wish you didn't have to have a specific month to celebrate somebody, right? Because we should be celebrating them all the time. And, but because we do live in this world, I'm just so glad that we can celebrate Pride together. I love sharing my birthday with Pride Month. I think it's just so much fun. And then I have to give a little shout out to my clients that are my LGBTQIA plus clients. For those that know me in that world, I can only say so much, with HIPAA, but I run groups that are all men and then all women, but then I also run a group that is our queer community. And I feel so connected to that group, and they are just such a joy to work with. So I just had to give a little shout out to that.
I'll have to give you a shout out too, because I've always, your empathy and your deep feeling and love and positivity has got you right in the right place in your life. So as your Jaji, which means father in Ho-Chunk, we just did another word of the day.
Oh, yes. For those that don't know, you'll always hear me say Jaj or Jaji. That is father, dad in Ho-Chunk.
But as being your Jaji, it's just, I'm so proud of you and your sister. And I just want to say a big Pinigigi for hanging out with me here on Native Roots Radio. It means a big deal to me.
Well, thank you for having me back on. You've had a lot of great guests and people that have worked with you. Yeah. And every time I'm on, I'm reminded that this type of thing does not feel like work. It's just a joy to be spending time as a family together, and then also just be, keeping up with the news as much as we can, and just sharing as much, real news, and also just our passions and our experiences, right? We always talk about how, when you're not talking about factual things, you're talking based on your own experience as a human. And I think that's really great for listeners, and then also for us to connect with people.
Yeah, and it was just 9 years ago, you, me, Wendy, Uncle Curtis started Native Roots Radio. And if you remember the first show, we had no commercials. You had to do live reads.
Yes, I did.
And then we had to be quiet during the live reads.
Yeah, we were
all in the same studio. And we were sweating, and we got that first Native Roots Radio out of the way. And here we are in our 9th season. And I always remember that we were sweating bullets. And we did end up listening to that show after a while. And it was like, oh, that wasn't bad at all. Because we all were at Standing Rock, and we talked about Standing Rock, which is why and how we originally started the show is just a lack of information about what was happening in Native Americans on on the radio and on TV, and the things that we did see were so inaccurate. So it's been a good run, and you're part of the history, and now you're back doing more, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, for those that don't, that are listeners, what I'm doing with my hands is it's just like we were like kind of mouthing things out, and we were kind of like like Jaji said, sweating and just kind of like, oh my gosh, you have to be quiet, because you just don't have things quite down. And now it's always fun to talk about that, because you think about the growth, like always remember where you've come from. I think a lot of things that I remind myself in my personal life, and I talk about my clients, or I tell this to my clients all the time, is remember when you wanted the things you have now. So remember when you wanted such a great, successful show, Jaji, where you could reach people and have great guests. And, besides, me and and Wendy and Choka, I mean, all fantastic. But now, I mean, there's so many just monumental moments that you've had on the show, and just great guests and great people on the show. So it's an honor to be here with you all.
Right on. And, as you were talking, I was thinking, don't look how far you have to go, look how far you've come.
That's right.
And that's kind of how I live my life, because if I would have thought 40 years ago of recovery of where I wanted to be, I would have underestimated my life. So everyone else, if I can do it, you can do it. And I don't know, whatever you want to do. Hey, we're still here. This is Native Roots Radio. We'll see you tomorrow. Happy Pride Month, and we'll see you Saturday too. So come on out and see us.
Yeah, see you Saturday, everybody. And then the Two Spirit Powwow tomorrow as well on Tuesday, June 24th.
The city of Minneapolis is now